Hey everybody, this is Mark J. Ryan again for part 2. We're talking about hypnosis and the movie Inception, a little bit of NLP in there. Another great hypnotic thing that he did in this movie is something that's called fractionation. And fractionation is something that like we talked about in part 1, where you begin to tell a story and somebody drops down, and then you go to tell another story, and then you tell another story. Part of what that does is it creates a little bit of confusion in the mind. When we hear a story once upon a time, we go back to a childhood state and we start to open up. That's hypnotic too. We listen to a story. We want to hear a story. We want to know what the story's about. We want to know how the story ends. So as we start to get down to these levels, it wears out that conscious mind, that part that picks at the scab, the conscious part that overanalyzes stuff and wants to get in there and figure out how it works consciously. And we're saying, look, your fingernails grow by themselves, the hair on your arms grow, you blink, you swallow, something does that automatically without you having to think about that. So there's something taking care of you and knows your best interest. What we want to do is leave healing and change to that. But as you're going down through here and you start to tell a story, we start to go a story of one level. We talk about what's going to happen at level 1 or level 2 of the dream, like they were talking in Inception. And we go in and then we come back out. And they go in and they test it and they come back out. Well, part of what hypnosis is the fractionation, is where as you begin to go in and tell these stories, okay, people start to come out and then you tell another story and then they start to come out. So we're going down here, and then what we do is we'll go back to the story. When we go back to the story the second time, you're comfortable there. You've already been there one time. So you start to get more comfortable the second time you go down there. And you get deeper. Then you start to come out maybe with another story. You've forgotten about this story. But then we go back to this story. And you get a little bit deeper. And the same thing on and on. So by the time you hit this place here, you've created all kinds of hypnotic stories, hypnotic phenomena. And then the fractionation, you get comfortable in a trance. So a lot of people aren't comfortable in a trance. So as they go through the movie, if you notice, they went from one scene, one level, to a next level, to a next level. He mixed it up. So as he was going down, he was also mixing up levels. So it might have been down here and then back up here and down here and back up there, down here and back up there. And that's kind of what he's doing to really solidify the trance. This is super powerful. This is super powerful. It's part of what repetition is. It's part of getting comfortable. When we go and we want to make a new habit, or we want to go into the unconscious mind, when we do it the first time, it might seem overwhelming. You think about a new job. You think about riding a bike, driving a stick shift. It's overwhelming. But the second time, we get a little bit more comfortable with it. The third time, we get a little bit more comfortable, and on and on. This also is an effect that happens in hypnosis. So if you watch a story, any movie that you're seeing that Hollywood does, where like the movie Crash, where there's all different kinds of scenes coming in. Another great movie, I think, that was made about the human spirit. It takes the problems and the issues that are going on and then reframes them in a sense. And this was a huge reframe down here. But to get to this part of reframing, what we had to do was first get you to open up the emotions of the possibility of what would it be like if it was your safe and you were going in there. What would it be like if your parent told you that? Your grandparent, a teacher, somebody told you that. And what we'll do is the unconscious mind will generate this. But first, through going through these processes, back and forth, down through these stories, and then back up again, fractionation. Now, if he does a part 2, all he's got to do is just go through a couple of those stories or a couple of the patterns of the stories, and we're going to be way deep down in a trance. So in the beginning of part 2, if he does part 2 of Inception or part 3, it gets you deeper and deeper. Now, some movies that doesn't work necessarily with. Some people say with The Matrix, the second and third weren't as good as the first. And so what it does, it kind of pops you out of the trance. So it has to be on the same level of depth. But again, fractionation, if you want to use it, you're telling a story and you want to get that story through and you want to get at a deep unconscious level. If you want to hypnotize somebody or go into hypnosis yourself, a great way to do it is put yourself in for a little bit, close your eyes, meditation, whatever you do, prayer, close your eyes, come back out, close your eyes, go down for a little bit longer, come back out. What happens is the unconscious mind anticipates this. It creates a response potential is what we call it, where the response is that now it's feeling so good being in these deeper states, being down here, it really does feel good in the body when you're in deep hypnotic trance. That a lot of people haven't felt those feelings in a long, long time in their life. So what they do is when they get down there, they realize how good it feels. When you bring them back up, they're like, no, take me back down. That effect was happening in the movie as well. You start to come back out and you get into the details and it's like, no, take me back down to that really deep level. Take me back down into the limbo in those deeper states. I want to know what's there. And there's something familiar there. And most of the people I talk to, they said, wow, it feels familiar. Yeah, because this is the process of what we do in our dreams and when we do in sleep and what we do in life, how we change. So again, we've got the U-trance, we've got fractionation. There's all kinds of things with hypnosis that we can learn and how it's being used today in a positive way. Years ago, they used to think electricity. The Amish still think electricity is of the devil, and so they don't use it. And a lot of times with hypnosis, people have thought that for years. It's not good. It's of the devil. No, it's how the mind works successfully. It's the study. NLP, hypnosis, is a study of how we can change and shift and how the mind works. And so if we can get away with the stigma and get away from the stigma of what that means to us or what we think it means and get into how this can help us and how it can benefit us, it's tremendous. It's amazing how you can use this in your own personal life in so many different ways. I'm Mark J. Ryan. Go to www.markjryan.com. Check out some of my videos and products, and you'll realize that this is something that I've been doing for a long time, and I've been creating videos in the last 4 years doing the same thing. Thanks. Come and see us for part 3.